Hey all, welcome to the first developer's diary for the game Ballistick. Uh, Hopefully you've been checking it out on IndieDB, and it's sort of my goal to keep you all updated probably every other week about what's going on, what's changed, the new features we add, between those periods. And since this is the first one, I figured I'd tell you a little bit about the company, who works for it, what we all do, and then just show you the framework of how the game's actually made. For those of us in America, happy Independence Day. It's July 4th today. For those who aren't from America, it's really sort of this overrated holiday where you sit around in lawn chairs and eat barbecue and get drunk. I mean, I guess that's one way to celebrate. But me, I'm inside making this video. So, Ballistick is made by Bomb Shelter Games. At the company, there's about 6 of us. I've got a picture of it right here we go. So this is us right here. This is me, Owen, in the top left. I'm sort of designer and producer, but for Ballistick, I sort of do all the tech stuff, get it to run, and do these developer diaries. Next, we have Chris, who's in the middle. Chris worked with us on our last title. We might bring him on for Ballistick, not sure yet. Third guy over is Kevin. Kevin does the composing, does all the music. He is a musical therapist in the real world. Next, on the top right is JP. He's the audio guy. Do I want to change my color scheme? No, I'm good. Thank you, though. He does all the audio stuff, so all the sound effects you hear. He works at Wayfair.com, which is like Amazon. Bottom left, we got Bennett. Bennett's the art guy. He draws basically everything. In the real world, he's a video technician sort of thing. And Jim, in the bottom right, does all the coding. And our game's sort of split. And I'll show you in the engine, but a lot of it's done with visual scripting, and then a lot of it is done with actual coding. So Jim does all the code stuff. He works at iRobot. He made the last Roomba. I don't know if you guys have a robot vacuum, but he makes those. And then last, not that picture, is Ethan. Ethan works at a game studio around here, and he's a QA tester. And for this game, he does sort of the level art and level design. So Bomb Shelter Games, we were founded in 2009, and of those 4, it was myself, Owen, Bennett, JP, and Jim. We got together and we started working on a title called Till Death, which was like a 2D zombie side-scrolling game. It's on IndieDB. You should check it out. That game never got released, but it was a really good learning experience. We made like the first level, and by the end it was this broken mess, and we were jumping between color, black and white, and it just wasn't really working out for us, and it sort of put us in our place as to what we could and couldn't do as game developers. It was made in Torque engine, which, I mean, I'm sure some people out there have enjoyed it and had success with it, but we couldn't even handle it. So we gave up on that, and we moved on to John Q. Average Man, which actually did get released back in 2012, October 2012, for the App Store. It's on Congregate. It's on the Android Marketplace. It has since been taken down from the iOS Store, mainly because we didn't want to pay another $100 to keep it up there for another year, but it had some good reviews. It was like the top platformer of 2012 on SlideDB, which was pretty cool, or one of the top 3. It didn't win, but and it was like App of the Day and Editor's Choice and all that fun stuff. But it's a fun game. Basically, it's a puzzle platformer where you choose you gotta jump from platform to platform to get to your beer. So you're a fat construction worker trying to get to his beer, and when you do, there's this fun video and celebratory music. But it's free on the Google Play Store. You want to check it out? You can check out the IndieDB page. It's up there. We had a lot of good feedback on that. So yeah, check that out. Other game we made, Parallel Hearts, is an educational game. So we made it for Framingham school system here in Massachusetts in the United States. So it's actually designed to get middle school girls motivated to pursue mathematics, and the reason being is middle school is where girls lose focus in the STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So the idea is we create a game that shows them how fun it can be and how fun math is, and then they pursue that. Jesus Christ, keep the current color scheme. Thank you. So that game was pretty successful. It was actually part of my thesis when I earned my master's degree from WPI in game development. I myself am a professor of animation at Mount Ida College, so if you're ever thinking about going to colleges and you don't know anyone, you go to Mount Ida. just come up to me and be like, hey, I watched that video of you that one time. Alright, so enough about the background of our company here, and let's check out Ballistick. Alright, so hopefully you've been on the page. It's probably where you're viewing this video, but there's a lot of cool stuff. We just posted a neat picture of split-screen multiplayer we're working on. It's one of the big upcoming things. You can check out our downloads, play our proof of concept, participate in the forums, leave some feedback. We love it, love feedback. That's sort of our lifeblood. So tell us what you think. Don't be shy. You're not going to hurt my feelings. So the game itself, I don't know how much you guys know, but it's built in the Unity engine. And you may be laughing to yourself because those who know anything about Unity know that it's in fact a 3D engine. And if I rotate it like this, you'll actually see that despite the game being in 2D, it actually exists in 3D space, which many people may view as sort of an inefficient way of making games. Yeah, you're probably right. Working in 3D space, trying to make a 2D game is often quite difficult, but it's what I'm most familiar with, and it's a lot of very user-friendly. Some other laughable things about our approach to game development is that it's made in Unity 3D 3, version 3, and when version 4 came out, it actually supported 2 games, so it's 2D games. So we're actually working with the version of Unity that doesn't support 2D games. So all we're essentially doing is taking 3D assets, putting them on 2D images, putting them on 3D planes and positioning them in 3D space, and then taking a camera with orthographic view. So there's no vanishing point, no perspective. So it's actually quite simple, and allows for more useful things and not have to worry about draw layers and things like that because you just position them in 3D space. And to get that all to work, we actually need a couple plugins. We use Sprite Manager 2, which is quite useful. We use Easy GUI. We use Playmaker. I'll get into Playmaker soon. And all these plugins sort of help the program run more to our liking, I suppose. Otherwise, we'd just be fumbling around trying to make a 2D game in a 3D engine. But yeah, so here we have it. This is the basic layout, and if you've used Unity before, this is all very familiar to you. If you haven't, it may seem overwhelming, but it's actually really, really simple. So like I said before about the scripting, the game itself is coded in 2 separate ways. I would say 95% of it is done with visual scripting. So I script the game without knowing how to program at all. Alright, so I don't know how to code anything, believe it or not. And what I do is use a visual scripting tool. And for Unity, there's a couple. UScript is one of them, but the one we like is called Playmaker. And if I show you, if I click on Playmaker, Playmaker Editor, it will actually, if I zoom out, let's maximize this here. You can actually see it's like a tangled mess of webs of stuff, but it actually makes a lot of sense. So if we zoom in here, and this is our master listener. So what this does is listens for key inputs. So am I pushing get button down fire? And if I do, which is in this sense the right arrow, it will send an event fire this way, and we'll check, am I changing my gun? If so, ignore it. If I'm not, do I have bullets? If I don't have bullets, play the click sound effect. If I do have bullets, then I check, is my safety on? Is my safety not on? Then I shoot, and then it does all this sort of stuff and goes down the chain and cycles back here. So this is a really, really useful tool. I actually use it with my students in school. For those who are really adamant and really want to pursue game development but just don't quite get programming. And you can really, really make some complicated and awesome stuff with it. I'll be honest, I failed. The only class I failed in college was programming, Java and C#. I failed that straight up. So, and look at me now. We've made this entire game without really coding. Some of the coding stuff, the other stuff that we actually do, we do need script for, is animations and that sort of stuff. This guy, I think, runs the input stuff. So Jim will write all the sort of fancy code. He does coding for a living, so it's no big deal. But all the rest of the stuff is capable for those who don't know how to program. So I encourage you, all the artists out there are like, oh, I just really need to find that coder who can help me make my game. Don't wait for them. Don't put off making games for that one perfect day. It's never going to be there. Okay, so just start making games now. And, don't be afraid to learn something new. If you're completely illiterate at programming like me, and I fully accept that, there is hope for you out there. All right, so that's just sort of the engine. Like I said, it just exists on planes with textures on them, transparent textures, and then sort of gooey stuff. I'll show you some of the new features before I let you go. I don't want to ramble on for too long. I've already been going for a while now. Some of the new features we added. Oh, first of all, most exciting is controller support. So you can now play with the Xbox controller, and obviously since this is a screen recording, you can't see me, so here's a picture of an Xbox controller. So it runs on the controller now, which is awesome. Use your left and right buttons and the triggers of fire and all that fun stuff. The other thing I added was the safety. Alright, so you can see in the center of the screen the sort of safety switch. That's placeholder art. That's just me throwing that in there. And if I try to fire, it'll just click because the safety's on, right? And we're trying to encourage people to learn. I've never played a game where there's a safety. And we're all about realistic gun mechanics, and just the idea that we're teaching people not to learn how to use a safety on a gun, to me, is laughable. So if I hit right now, it's the Z key, but it's probably going to change. You'll see it changes to fire, and now I can shoot the gun. So safety's on, can't fire. Safety's off, can't fire. And that safety will stick with each gun. So if I change guns, is the safety on the other one? It will remember the pistol is on safe when I change guns. The other thing right here, I'm going to pick up this box, and it's going to say you picked up the M4, but I actually didn't. I picked up the grenade launcher, which is pretty cool. None of the art's there, just the text there, but one of the cool things, so I enter to get rid of this, and I hit change, which is F, yeah. Doesn't look like it, but I now have the grenade launcher out, and if I turn off the safety, there we go, and I fire it. Alright, it's playing an editor, so it lags a little bit, but I can reload it now by hitting up twice, down twice. Up once to crack open the grenade launcher, up again to pull the empty shell out, down to put the new shell in, and down to close the grenade launcher. So we're thinking that like a single-shot thumper grenade launcher, if you've played Call of Duty and things like that. So I reload it, and I fire it again, and there you go. Up, down, down. And eventually, hopefully by next video, I'll have the art in place, but it's pretty exciting. And let's reload that again. Turn my safety on. So again, all the cover works and all that fun stuff, just like in the proof of concept. If you haven't tried the proof of concepts, please do. A lot of good feedback we've gotten so far, so I encourage you to check it out. But yeah, so far that's all we've done. Between the last two, controller support, we're split screens coming. We've got the cameras all working for that. We just need to sort of fix the UI, and the input's all set. We can have one player playing on the controller, one player playing on the keyboard. Hopefully, eventually, we'll get it set up so two people can play on controllers, because I know that's probably what a lot of people would prefer. But yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Like I said, this is hopefully going to be a bi-weekly, semi-weekly, whatever the right term for that is, every other week sort of video, and we'll get to show you what has changed, and hopefully every month we'll get a new build out. Last build we released at the end of June, so end of July, hopefully we'll get a new one with all the fun new features. Once I finish up on the grenade launcher and safety, which safety's done, get all the art in for the grenade launcher, I'm probably going to move to flipping tables for cover, which will be kind of cool. Crouching, trying to add more dimensionality to the level. Right now it's very flat, and you have like one path, and you're forced to encounter enemies in a certain way, and that's not really what we want. We want to have the player plan their encounters. Choose weapon screen is on the list for this month, and choose your starting location. So instead of always coming in from the same spot, you can choose how you infiltrate the building. Whether it be I blow through the roof with C4, I storm in the front gate, I climb through the air duct, that sort of thing. How you enter the building will affect how you play the game. So I can choose my starting weapon. Sure, this time I'm going to start with the breaching charges and the grenade launcher, so I can breach the front door and just lob grenades in. That might make sense, right? But if I choose the silenced pistol and the claymores and come through the front door, I'm obviously going to get my ass kicked. So if I chose that weapon set, maybe I would crawl in through the vents and try to sneak my way in. So we're trying to add that sort of added dimension of gameplay, because right now it's very, very flat, and you get the same experience every time, that sort of thing. So starting locations is on the blocks, choosing your weapons coming up, flipping tables, like dynamic cover, I suppose, is sort of the way to think about it. But yeah, so thank you so much for tuning in. Leave comments, check out our forums. Honestly, we're an open book here. We like to share everything about our game development. There's no secrets. There's a common misconception that people are going to steal your ideas in the game industry, but that's sort of a naive opinion. And the reason being is because everyone in the game industry has their own idea, and I promise they'd rather be working on their own idea than stealing yours. All right. Once you start making games that sell like millions of copies, yes, you'll have to worry about people stealing your ideas. I mean, there are companies out there who make a business on stealing other people's ideas, but until you reach that million sales point, you really shouldn't worry about people stealing your ideas. So we're totally open, and we love hearing what you have to say. We're not in this for the money. We just love making games. It's not our goal to retire off Ballistick here. It's just a fun hobby. We all have regular jobs, and we just love doing it. So if you want to make the game better or contribute, I totally encourage you to do that. All right, so thanks for listening, and hopefully we'll see you back next week for a Developer's Diary. All right, thanks.